Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, The Crafty Quinn. My name is Megan and I love to make DIY decor out of mostly Dollar Tree items. Now if you love decor, DIY decor, or Dollar Tree, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button. Today I have some Christmas crafts that are a mix of cottagecore and vintage style, so let's start crafting. And we're jumping right in. So this is one of those Dollar Tree nautical houses that I still had left over from their nautical decor season. And if you can't find these, Dollar Tree sometimes has some other house-shaped frame alternatives. They even have galvanized metal house-shaped frames. Well, not frames, but galvanized metal pieces. So those are some alternatives. And I believe Target Dollar Spot also has some things like this sometimes. So I just scraped off the paper on the front because I didn't want that on the back of this. So then I'm actually going to use the back of this for the actual piece that I'm making. So I'm taking some Folk Art True Burgundy color, and this is actually acrylic paint. This is not chalk paint, and I never use acrylic paint ever, so this was fun. But I actually did you're gonna want to do 2 coats of this True Burgundy Folk Art color, and I highly recommend that because if you don't, it definitely, some spots tend to look lighter than others, so that's why you're gonna want to go back, do a second coat. And maybe that's something to do with acrylic paint, I'm not sure, but I feel like I don't really have that problem with chalk paint, so that is just a lesson I've learned from now trying my hand at some acrylic paint. So after this is all painted, we're getting ready for the next step here. I just went ahead and touched up some areas that still had a little bit of light spots or areas that I missed. But we are taking this Amazon window. Look at this cute, adorable little window. So these actually come in a pack of 2 off of Amazon, and I think it was $5 for the set of the 2 of them. So they're like really, really tiny. They're only about 5 inches tall or so, but I just thought they're so adorable, and like they're kind of modern, I guess, at the same time, but I just felt like it really fit with what I was trying to make here. So next I'm taking this Christmas. It's actually one of those garland hangers. It's a wired hanger, and then you just throw it over your greens, and then it kind of blends right in with the rest of them. Well, I still had some of those left over from Dollar Tree's Christmas section. So since they're wired, you can just flip the piece over really nice, and it ends up being able to turn into a little wreath very quickly by just twisting it. So that was super, super easy to make. So just lining it up here. And then I took some of this ribbon. I've had this ribbon for a long time. Dollar Tree has some interesting alternatives if you want to go for a cheaper option to keep it under that $5 mark. But so you can use this ribbon, and this was something that came from Target, but you know, it's off season right now, so you won't be able to find this until Christmas time, as well as some of the other Christmas items here that I'm using, so definitely want to keep that in mind. So I took the frame off of the front of this, and now I'm just using hot glue to secure it to the back. It may look a little bit off center there, but it doesn't exactly line up perfect because this is technically from the front and the back is not, I guess, perfectly shaped as the front. So I just actually hot glued this window, and I just made everything kind of temporary because hot glue, I don't really see that as a permanent hold. So this way, if I'm hot gluing everything down, I can reuse this window in other projects. So the 2-pack actually, it came with one white window and 1 black window, so you can paint them however you want. But really, I just wanted the arches to line up, and I think that's the most important piece for this, because I feel like it looks really crooked if the arches are not aligned. So I just hot glued that bow to the top. I thought about putting it on top of the wreath, but it took away from the pretty window aesthetic, so I decided to just put the wreath on there plain. So I just used a little bit of hot glue, some tiny little dabs, and that's all this needed to hold up this little wreath. And otherwise, this is how it turned out. So it's super cute. I did go ahead and paint the sides of this too. So today's video is part of the Holly Jolly Christmas DIYs collab, hosted by DIY with Nadia and Crafty Leanie, and featuring Our Green Acres, A Perfect Place to Start, and designed by D9. We all made a video full of Christmas crafts for you, so please check out the playlist I've linked below in my description box. We're all so excited to share what we've come up with. So on to the next DIY here. We have this cute little Dollar Tree drawer, and it has this little, I don't even know what you call it, like a label holder. And so that's what's great about this. I think this is the medium-sized drawer. This is either the large size or the medium drawer. I'm not actually sure because I never found all 3 sizes, so I don't know which one technically this is. But I'm taking more of that true burgundy folk art color, and I'm going to coat this completely. I'm not worried about the inside of the box because some scrapbook paper is going to go over that. So it's just really important to coat the entire outside of this box and the insides, except for the flat piece in the back, I mean. So I just took a sponge brush because that was honestly the fastest way to do that versus using a tiny little paintbrush, which was the only kind of paintbrushes I really had on hand. So I'm just using my heat gun here. I've linked that down for you below as well. And man, it actually helped a lot more than I thought with acrylic paint to heat up projects. It does kind of, I will say the only downside is I feel like it kind of leaves some streaks, but hey, that's your preference. So I'm taking some Hobby Lobby scrapbook paper. I got this for about 69 cents, or you can get it for half off when they have sales. And I love this like vintage paper, so that really goes along with the whole vintage theme. So I'm putting this piece back on now that the paint is completely dry. Sorry, I was off camera there for a second, but I had to go grab my little screwdriver kit. I have a screwdriver set that's inside of this cute little hammer, and I got this hammer from Hobby Lobby. I was like, I realized that I'm starting to need my own tools, and I have to stop stealing my husband's. So, because I'm like not always putting them back in the right places, so I'm horrible with that. So I was like, I need to get my own. And this is so cute because it's like all buffalo plaid and whatnot. So it has 4 little screwdriver heads inside of this hammer at the bottom, and you just unscrew it and use whichever ones you want. So the screws go right back in, super easy, and even if you don't align them perfectly, the material is super easy to just poke the screws right back into anyway. So I'm taking these cute little red truck ornaments. Yeah, they're supposed to be ornaments. They were from Dollar Tree's Christmas section, obviously, but I think they should have these again this year because I mean, why not? They're such a, you know, they were such a hit and they're so cute. But they have glitter on the wheels, and I'm not a fan of that for the vintage look, obviously. It looks a little too modern. So I'm just taking that true burgundy folk art paint, and I'm just covering it up. I'm literally just painting over the glitter so it doesn't shine so much. And I actually think it kind of gave it more of a unique look because I feel like the edges of the truck were a slightly darker color, and I feel like that kind of looked interesting. So to make this sit up the way I want to, I actually, I used some hot glue on the tree in the back of the truck and just on the back of it because the tree sticks out so much, it was enough to keep this truck standing out. And then this is how it turned out. And I think it's so cute, you guys. So if you're new here, my name is Megan, and this is the Crafty Kitty, Marcus, my assistant. If you're liking the DIYs on my channel, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Ring that notification bell when you subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. So if you're looking for any of the supplies, I always link them down for you below in my description box. And if you like my work and would like to buy me a coffee or craft supplies, I now have a Buy Me a Coffee profile. So with that being said, let's get back to the DIYs. So next, I don't even know if you would technically count this as a DIY, but I thought it was something super cute. I found my pine cone stash, and look at Marcus. He is so tempted there to grab these pine cones. He got real interested when I pulled these out of my Christmas stash, but I had these little pine cones stored up from last year when I was going through my Christmas bin, and then I had these cute little wood cutouts left over from my camping DIY video, and these cutouts actually came from Hobby Lobby, but they're tiny little wood circles. And I found tiny little pine cones to fit over top of them perfectly. And to me, when I look at these pine cones on top of these wood pieces, I was like, these look like mini Christmas trees. I thought they were so cute. So I don't know if anyone's done this before, but I mean, I don't know. I just came up with it. I thought it was cute because I was just looking at what I had in my stash, and I was like, I think I can put these together. So you can do a lot with these. You can just leave them plain as is. You can put glitter on them if you're into that. I'm not really, but that's totally up to you. I wish I still had some of that snow spray. I would have gladly covered these with some snow spray as well, but they stand up perfectly on their own. And you can even hang them upside down and put a little Christmas hanger on them and make them into little ornaments too. So you got endless possibilities there. But I just wanted to point that out as a cute, fun, easy, quick DIY. So for this next one, we are actually going to take more of that Dollar Tree doily. I've been using this a lot with my Cottagecore DIYs, and since I consider some of these DIYs to be similar, kind of Cottagecore definitely uses a lot of nature elements in it. You're using a lot of things from outside to make some DIYs, and that's really what I think of when I think of Cottagecore. But it is a brand new style, so I'm trying to do my, what I think Cottagecore is and kind of, branch out here. But I'm having a lot of fun with this style. So I probably will continue to do some farmhouse crafts, but I'm really having fun with Cottagecore right now. So since this doily was kind of in pieces from the last time I used it, from my last video, my fall Cottagecore video, I had to kind of find a way to cover this completely because I wanted to use 2 layers of doilies because I didn't want the foam piece to stick out, and obviously that's a little bit tough when there's tons of tiny little holes in these. But the best way to do that is to just use 2 doilies. So I had enough there to cover the ball completely with the first one. And look at this. I'm trying to do this one-handed. I actually managed to pull it off, but hey. So I'm just using the other one now to cover it up, and I think that actually gives it the most coverage. But it's important to obviously put this ball in the very, very middle of it so you have an even side all the way around. And then you just literally scrunch this up. Just take all the pieces and you just kind of like scrunch it up, make sure all the pieces are in there. Honestly, when I was doing this, it kind of reminded me of like putting my hair up in a scrunchie or something. So it's kind of similar to that. You just want to make sure you have all the pieces. You want to make sure there's no bumps. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just now taking some twine, and also one-handed. This is very difficult, as you can see, but but basically I just wanted to make sure that it was around the top of this completely. This is another super easy DIY. It only takes a few minutes, and I'm not using a ton of hot glue on this either. I want to say maybe I only used a small dab, and that was it. So I just wanted to make sure this twine was all the way around, and then once it is, you're gonna tie a bow. And just doing one little bow is just not enough. So when you tie a bow around this, I recommend you double knot it. Make sure it's super secure. You can hot glue it if you want, but for me, this is just temporary because I might want to use these doilies for other projects. So next, you're just taking this cute little hanger. I don't know why I'm calling it cute, but it's a little ornament hanger, and you're turning this into a cute ornament. And I did go ahead and hot glue a little button right there in the middle. I didn't feel like it was enough. I feel like it needed some kind of embellishment, and that's just who I am. I always add something else. So this is a Cottagecore ornament, Christmas ornament. So this is a Dollar Tree St. Patty's Day sign, as you can see. And so you don't have to use this kind of sign by any means. They always have different versions of this sign at Dollar Tree throughout the year. Like I said, you don't have to use it. You can use any sign from Dollar Tree to make this next one. So I'm taking some white Waverly chalk paint. I'm actually using chalk paint now. And you're just gonna wanna coat this completely. I cannot remember if I did 1 or 2 coats. That's totally up to your discretion. I think I actually only did 1, and that was enough. Because you're gonna layer this up with so many other things that it's not gonna matter. So the important thing is to just make sure it's coated. Okay, so next, once we have it coated, I'm actually taking some antique wax now, and I'm distressing it using one of those little stencil brushes. And this particular brush actually came in a Target stencil pack. So that's just, I mean, you don't have to use this kind of brush. That's just the one that I had on hand. Typically, I use chippy brushes, so I can link some down for you below in my description box. Either way, you know, you just want to try and catch the edges like I always try to do. And for me, that's really the biggest thing with distressing. I don't think I have an actual technique. I guess maybe I do, but I just kind of tend to kind of go all the way from one side and then use that to kind of drag across. And I try to not leave some like clumpy spots in the middle, and I feel like if you just start from the one side and kind of drag it over, I feel like it kind of helps with that. But that's totally up to you. I mean, distressing is supposed to be fun. Well, that's the way I see it anyway. So what you didn't see me doing was off camera, I was actually getting the excess off of my brush at the time. And so to get the excess antique wax off of your brush, that's what I was using. You just draw 3 X's on a paper towel, and then you just, that helps kind of soak up some of it, and then that helps you put a very, very light layer onto whatever you're trying to distress. So, like I said, this is another nature DIY. These are literally sticks that I found outside, and please be warned, please check them all for bugs, because you know you're definitely going to see some probably if you go this way. If you're literally just going outside and grabbing sticks, your chances are you're gonna see some little bugs like I did. So just make sure you kind of shake them off, or you can actually seal. You can seal these completely with Mod Podge, and that'll kind of, you know, keep the bugs from coming out into your house, hopefully. But yeah, just really make sure the branches are clean, and just check them really good for bugs. So with this, really, I'm just trying to, you know, start with one layer and then go slightly smaller and slightly smaller and slightly smaller with the next one. And then that's really just what I was trying to do with this. And I have some lines on here. I guess I didn't have the footage of this, but I was drawing some lines onto this, I guess, canvas, whatever you want to call it, onto this sign. And I was trying to, you see some like clumpy spots of antique wax there, but I was trying to do like kind of like a create like a gap, or like maybe like make it look like it's a knot in wood or something like that, but just kind of really antique and distress this to go for that cottagecore feel, with not just the nature elements, but with the kind of old look. So now you can see the pieces are finally starting to get very, very small. And then I think we're done here with this. And then I just added a cute little bow on top. And then after it was done, I felt like there was definitely something missing. So I added this cute little layer of lace, and this is Dollar Tree lace. And you don't have to use this red velvet ribbon like I used. You can use whatever kind of ribbon. Dollar Tree has some satin ribbon over there. And I just noticed. So apologies for this little, what looks like a tissue. I swear it's not a tissue over there in the right hand corner. That is a paper towel that I was using for the antique wax. So sorry, I just noticed that. But after this was done, I added a bow at the very, very top to give it a finishing touch. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to check out the playlist that I have linked down for you below. If you want to watch more videos, check them out here on the left, and please be sure to follow me on Instagram. Thank you guys. Have a great day.